Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to the finale of albums that are 40 years old in 2022 as we look back on 1982. We've been celebrating that great year of music all month long. All right. And 28 days, 28 of my favorites. We are at day 28. Of course, this is my favorite of the month. Some of you may be asking yourself, Pete, what could possibly be? What could you possibly like more than Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast? I've asked myself that same question. Well, there was one album that I think has nudged itself a hair above that landmark third album from Iron Maiden over the years. At the time, like I said yesterday, at the time I would have easily said Number of the Beast. But I find I don't listen to Number of the Beast that much anymore. And I find I still listen to my number one pick here all the time. And I just think this is an absolute perfect album, start to finish. I love the vocals. I love the guitar playing. The songs are great. The rhythm section is great. It's heavy enough, but it's melodic. And it's my favorite album from this particular band. It's my favorite vocal performance from this particular singer. And it's one of my favorite guitar performances, one of, maybe not my absolute favorite guitar performances from this guitar player. Released in October 1982 for the Chrysalis label. Also produced by the same guy who produced yesterday's pick, Mr. Martin Birch. I'm talking about the third album from the Michael Schenker Group, Assault Attack. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only album featuring Mr. Graham Bonnet on lead vocals throughout the whole album. Of course, Graham has worked with Michael again in recent years on the Michael Schenker Fest albums and whatnot, so he has performed with him again, but this was the only album in the history of Schenker, the Michael Schenker Group, where Graham is the sole lead singer, and it's my favorite Schenker album. Michael Schenker Group album, I should say. Just such a killer album. Of course, you got Michael Schenker on all guitars, Graham Bonnet on vocals, Chris Glenn on bass, and Ted McKenna on drums. Tommy Iyer plays a little keyboards on here. Tommy also worked on that Gary Moore album, Quarters of Power, we talked about the other day. Martin Birch, of course, producing. So, yeah, love this album to death. Like I said, it's pretty heavy. One of the heavier Michael Schenker Group albums, but it's so precise. It's so well produced. The songs are great. You got, the opening blast of the title track. You got the grinding, rock you to the ground. Just with a killer guitar riff. You got the Great Dancer, which is a nice kind of commercial track with a great hook, great chorus. Samurai. Do you live to die? Well, Samurai is such a great song. It's kind of moody, kind of atmospheric, kind of mysterious. A great guitar solo, a great vocal. Then you got the wonderful Desert Song. I mean, there's just classic songs on here. Broken Promises. I love Broken Promises. Such a heavy song. And that snarling vocal from Graham Bonnet. He's so good on this album. Searching for a Reason. Fun song. Good rockin' song. And then, of course, you got the crazy instrumental Ulcer to finish it all off. There's not a weak second on this entire album. And like I said, for me, this album is still fresh and enjoyable today, 40 years later. And that's the reason why it's number one. There's no wasted anything on here. All these guys at their absolute peak. And it's just a real shame that Graham kind of fucked it all up and threw it all away at that little warm-up gig to the Reading Festival. And Michael was like, you're out of here, right? What are you going to do, right? That's the way history works. But yeah, and a great album cover, too. I mean, look at that. When that just screams, excitement, guitar pyrotechnics, and heavy metal thunder. Although it's not, I wouldn't really call it a metal album. It's more like just a good, heavy hard rock album. But we all called it metal back in the day, and the term heavy metal and what is considered heavy metal has kind of changed over the years. And what we thought was metal back then, there are metal moments on here, but I think for the most part, this is just a really heavy, hard rock album and a great one. So that is my pick today, the final day, pick number 28, essentially my number one album of 1982, my favorite album of 1982, Assault Attack by the Michael Schenker Group. Let us know what you think of this album in the comments below, and also list your pick for the final day. And visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here all together all the damn time on YouTube. Coming right up, we've got a bonus episode of all of my honorable mentions, so that is happening. And then tomorrow we start off 1992, albums that are 30 years old in 2022 as we look back on actually a pretty good year, 1992. I know, like I said on yesterday's episode, a lot of us kind of look back on the 90s as kind of like this wasteland of a decade for music, but in actuality, when you really look deep, there were actually quite a few really good albums released during the 90s and especially in 1992. So that's what we're going to be tackling all next month, starting tomorrow, all of March, 31 days of March, my 31 favorite albums from 1992. So stay tuned for that, and please subscribe here if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss any of these videos, right? Because we post these every single morning, 9 a.m. We're pretty predictable here on SOT. We've got shows for every single day of the week, and they happen every single week. So, and then we've got the daily shows that I do. So we've been doing these kind of like anniversary type things here in 2022. January was 50 years, 1972 albums. This month we've tackled 1982. We're going to be doing 1992 starting tomorrow. So stay tuned then and each and every day. I am Pete Pardo. We'll see you then. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. And stay tuned for the Hudson Valley Squares tonight. We're also finishing up 1982. We've got our final album war happening tonight. We've got Raven going up against Manowar. So stay tuned for that tonight on the Hudson Valley Squares. We'll see you then, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.